how much we're borrowing, how much we're putting in an account. 3%, so what are we gonna put for our R? 0.03. How long are we leaving it in the bank?
2 years.
2 years. So to get our interest, to get how much money we're paying, we go to our calculator and we're gonna say $200 at 3% for 2 years. Now, we didn't borrow it for that long and we're not having that much money. So this time we're only having to pay back $12. So $212 is the total we're paying back, which is not that bad. Up here, we borrowed more money and we kept it longer. So the more money you borrow, the more you gotta pay back in interest. Now, do we know about this interest rate? What determines y'all's interest rate? Do we know? Credit. I have a lot of young people in here who are like, how do I get good credit? When y'all start to go buy something, when you start going to buy something, they're gonna say, you have no credit. Or they're gonna say, you have bad credit. Sometimes no credit is just as bad credit. And these older people are saying, I know all about that. Give you an example, and this is something that nobody ever teaches you about. They just assume that you know and you get thrown to the wolves. Growing up, my mom was a math teacher, my dad was an engineer, and when I grew up in 7th grade, same age my daughter is right now, my parents got me a credit card, they got me a savings account, and they got me a checking account. And all my friends are like, you are spoiled rotten. Who in 7th grade has a credit card? My parents were establishing my credit. They would let me get us a shirt every month, or they would let me, when I got a car, they would pay to get my gas, but they had it in my name. Establishing credit means that you are proving to the world that you can pay your bills. Now, my baby daddy, when we got married at 21, he, like everybody else, his parents said, you need a shirt, here's some cash. You need some gas, here's some cash. Use my card. So when he hit 21, he had no credit because he had nothing in his name. He either used his parents' name or his parents gave him cash. So he had not proven to the world, he was a great person, but he had not proven to the world that he could pay his bills. So when we go to buy our first house at 21, I want to put my name, my house in my husband's name. Well, the interest rate would have been sky high because the world does not trust him to pay his bills. So they would have charged the interest rate 9, 10, 12% because they don't know him. They don't know that he can pay his bills. But if they put it in my name, I've been paying my bills since I was in 7th grade, and I'm now 21. So my interest rate is way low because I'm not risky. I've proven to the world that I can pay my bills for years. So they trust me. So what do we have to do? We put the house in my name. And then we slowly had to put things in his name to build up his credit. So, and it takes a while to do that. And so what I always tell people, and don't go home and say, Miss Cooper said, but what I always tell people is go out, go to the bank and get even like a $300 loan. Even if you don't need it.
Security credit.
Yeah, secured credit. Get a $300 loan, put the money underneath your in a shoebox or wherever. You don't need the money because that's the best time to get it when you don't need it. Get it for a 6-month period or whatever, and go every month and pay it off. And you may have to pay an extra $12 or $25 or $50 or whatever. But you are slowly proving to the world that you can pay your bills. That's establishing credit. That's exactly what that is. You know, getting a cell phone. But if you get that $300 loan or $500 loan or whatever, and you don't make your bills on time, then you're proving to the world that you can't pay your bills and you're establishing bad credit. Okay? So, to me, having good credit and paying your bills on time, that is the best thing that you can do. These pay-and-go loan places, they know that you don't have good credit. They almost charge you interest by the day, by the hour, by the minute. And after a couple of weeks, you're paying more on interest than you're paying on anything. They are, they're loan sharks, they are.
Legalized.
Now, and I know credit cards have a bad name. And when I tell my students this, they freak out. I have probably 20 credit cards.
What?
And I always hear that. But I use credit cards to help me save money. When I go to Lowe's, I use my Lowe's credit card because I get 5% off. When I go to Target, I use my Target credit card to get 5% off. When I go to Kohl's, Kohl's has sales that you can only do when you have your credit card. When I go to Walmart, I can get my gas cheaper if I use my Walmart credit card. So I use my credit cards to help me save money. Now, the kicker is if you use your credit cards, you have to pay off at the end of the month. What happens is people who use their credit cards, they don't pay them off, and that's where it gets you.
That's what you feel.
Because when you get your bill, it says, oh, you only have to pay $20 even though you owe $499. That's where they want you to do. They want you to pay that $20 because they want to charge you interest, because then it turns into a loan. But if you owe $136.12, I'm going to pay $136.12. That way, it's just like a debit card to me. I pay what I use, and then it's no different than having a debit card. I use cards like Capital One that for every dollar I spend, they give me money back in rewards points that I can turn in. And my husband and I go to Jamaica or Dominican Republic, and we just use our rewards points to go on vacations. Or you can use your rewards points to turn around and pay off your bills. So, it's how you manage your money. Don't let your money manage you. You've got to manage your money. And there needs to be courses at high school and at college that teach you this, because parallelograms are not going to be in your real life. Thank you.
It's actually a bill down in Columbia where it's supposed to be.
It needs to be.
Taught in high school.
It needs to be.
You got to.
They don't teach that, none of that.
Yeah.
Well, they talking about it now. It's all an economic trend.
They do, and anytime we do anything in here that I feel needs to be done, just like this next problem, is compound interest. And compound interest, y'all did, if you have any kind of loan, a car, like if you have a car note, or if you have a mortgage, a house, if you're paying for a house, that is compound interest. They are charging you interest every single month. And sometimes these payday loans, they do it every single day. They are. Now, this compound interest formula, the way Alex does it is a little bit harder than the way I do it. The good news is the formula is on your formula sheet. The P is still your money. The R is still your percentage rate as a decimal, which means we need to whoop it to the left. The T is still your time. The letter that gets everybody are those N's. The N's are how often it's compounded. So if the problem says compounded annually, ladies go to the doctor annually, the OBGYN annually, that means one time a year. Guys have a physical annually, that means one time a year. You have your birthday annually. Semi-annually, if it says compounded semi-annually, twice a year. Belts has a semi-annual sale in the fall and in the spring. Quarterly, 4 times a year, 4 quarters in $1. Monthly, 12. There's 12 months in a year. And if it says daily, we use 360. We don't use 365 because of leap year. So these are going to be all of our things that say compound. Now, let me show you how to do one of these. I think we're actually going to do 2, but I just want to show you how to get started. So the formula is A equals P, 1 plus R over N to the NT. So, my P is my money, $2,000. 1 plus is just part of my problem. R is my interest rate, but I have to whoop it. So that's gonna be 0.039. This one says compounded monthly. So my ends are going to be 12. Notice how I have 2 ends. So I'm gonna put 12 down here and 12 up there. And it's for 5 years. Are we good so far? Now, here's what will screw you up. You need to clean up your double exponent. So first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna come up here and you're gonna say 12 times 5 in your calculator. That is gonna give you 60. I'm gonna come over here and show you. I'm gonna do 12 times 5 in my calculator, that gives me 60. Cleaning up that double exponent is gonna get a lot of you out of trouble. Now I type it in exactly how it's written, 2,000 parentheses. 1 plus 0.039 divided by 12, close it and raise it to the answer of the double exponent. Now, this is money. Money is always 2 places behind the decimal. So this is 2429.85. So if you have a $2,000 loan, this compounded monthly at 3.9%, this is the total that you're gonna pay back. So this represents the $2,000 you're gonna pay back plus the $429.85 of interest. Now, if you wanna talk about real life, let's look at real life for just a second. How much does an ordinary house cost? Nothing fancy.
Average house, 58, 60,000.
Ordinary, 175.
I'm gonna go on the low end, but 150, 175,000 is an ordinary 3-bedroom, 2-bath, nothing fancy. I'm gonna go on the low end.
That's 175.
That's 1,500 square foot. So $140,000. Does anybody know what the average house interest rates are right now?
So
That's
then,
okay.
it's about 3, 4.
I'm gonna do 4.25%. How long does it take? And it's gonna be compounded monthly because we pay every month on our house.
It was 30-year loan.
Houses, you pay for 30 years. What is the total you pay on your house at the end of 30 years? This is real life, y'all. Real life right here. A equals P, 1 plus R over N to the NT. What is my P gonna be?
140,000.
140,000. 1 plus, what is my R gonna be?
0.0425.
Okay, because I whoop this. It is compounded monthly, so those are gonna be 12, and my time is 30. So the first thing I do is I clean up my exponents. So I come over here and I do 12 times 30, and that gives me 360. Then I come back in and I type in my equation, 140,000. 1 plus 0.0425 divided by 12, raise it to the 360th power. Y'all ready? Your $140,000 house, you would have ended up paying almost $500,000. So in 30 years, when you have shag carpet, need a new roof, it's broke down, tore down, needs new everything, outdated. Now, if we subtract the $140,000 that you borrowed, because $499 is the total that you paid for it. So if we subtract the $140,000 that you borrowed, you paid $359,000 in interest. You paid more in interest than you did for what you actually borrowed. That's real life. It's depressing.
Happens every day.
Huh? I know. And that's realistic.
So you get a better interest rate if you have better credit.
All right, I am done for today. We have like 3.5 pages, so we will finish module 2 on Tuesday, and we will start module 3 on Wednesday. Monday and Wednesday. Monday we'll finish module 2, Wednesday we will start module 3.
I'll be done by the weekend.
Hey,